As soon as you log in, you'll be asked to install a Chrome extension. Instead, you should also first create something called a new Chrome profile. What this does is ensures that no other Chrome extensions like screen recorders or ad blockers interfere with the automation, and you can minimize this separate Chrome profile so that if you have scheduled automations, they'll pop up in new tabs in a minimized browser that won't interfere with your main work browser. To do this, click your icon on top right hand corner in Chrome, and then click Add, continue without an account, and you can call it CheatLayer. Next, log in at cheatlayer.com. Once you've logged in, then you should install a Chrome extension. After you install the extension, you will automatically be brought back to the dashboard in about 30 seconds. This is the Agents Management dashboard. Below, you will not have any pre-built agents, so your agents will be empty and you won't see any graphs here. However, you do have access to our pre-built community agents. These agents have been submitted by non-technical users and discovered in simple language, and our own staff to build the most valuable agents for businesses, including lead generation, sales, and marketing agents. Next, I'm going to cover some simple automations that you can do directly in the Chrome extension, but I recommend installing CheatLayer Desktop, which has a much more powerful state machine that actually takes a screenshot of the screen and uses GPT-4 Vision and our own multimodal model, Atlas 1, to precisely iterate and deduce what the next step is. Go to any website and hit Alt-S or Option-S to open Project Atlas and build automations in simple language. For example, you can grow any brand on autopilot if you could say, post a tweet about whatever your theme is, for example, real estate, and then give it a frequency, like every day at 10 a.m. If you give it a frequency, it'll automatically schedule it using our fault-tolerant scheduling server, which means every day at 10 a.m. it'll now open up and generate a new tweet to grow any brand on autopilot. You can also go to any tweet and then generate replies, summarize, even do synthetic video generation. You can also do sentiment analysis. CheatLayer Desktop has marketing agents that also scrape your profile to automate the A/B testing and basically deduce what's going to be likely to generate high engagement, and then use that to generate videos, images, and text, and constantly iterate generating better content over time, basically to drive constant traffic and grow any brand on autopilot. Next, I recommend checking out our product agent capabilities. We have something called Live Mode in the extension, which we've actually used to build the entire agent management dashboard. So it's capable of building super complex products and services, but only the front end. CheatLayer Desktop has a more advanced version of this that can also generate the back end, host it locally, clone entire services from GitHub, build chat apps, iOS apps, cryptocurrencies, front ends, back ends, marketplaces, and basically services and products of any complexity. The unique thing about this is it builds it step by step. So, for example, you can say, generate a landing page for a real estate firm and use Unsplash for stock photos. It's going to start streaming the result and building it in real time for you in the background. And then when it finishes, you can actually keep adding features step by step, just like talking to an engineer. The desktop version of Live Mode, of course, takes us much further by actually even hosting your website live on the internet and locally on your PC, so you can host entire services without needing to pay, for example, simple hosting fees like WordPress and things like that. As soon as it finishes, it will also host it on cheatlayer.com live, so you can share it with your friends. And you can see it's built it here and generates new images every time we refresh. When we go back to the page we built it on, we can now keep iterating and adding features. So I'm going to say, for example, add a functional mortgage calculator This is a simple landing page, but users have actually built entire functional apps, games, tools, because you can actually build products of any complexity, just like we've built the entire agents management dashboard. For the agents management dashboard, we started with asking it to build basically an interface that looked like Monday.com, and then we kept adding features one after the other, step by step. And it's finished, and let's check out the mortgage calculator. And there you can see it's actually a functional tool. So you can actually build functional lead generation, lead magnets, whatever you want, iteratively, just like speaking to your own super engineer. Project Atlas has access to our entire internal library that allows it to simulate human key presses, send emails, generate voice, generate images, and any API until 2023, plus any open source library that it can import. You can use these features like building blocks in simple language. For example, you can go to any website and say, generate a summary of this page and email it to myself or whoever you want. You can also do this on any PDF. You can ask questions against any website or PDF instantly. For example, you can go to a website and say, what are the skills I need to apply to the business on this page? Or you can ask questions against anything, and it'll actually go find the website for you and attempt to generate a response. If you set up email forwarding with our sales agents, they can also do auto responding, and this is the summary that was emailed to me. Next, I'm going to go over a quick overview of the Agents Management Dashboard. You won't have any analytics or agents to start with, but what you can do is scroll down and deploy our pre-built agents. For example, the research agent will go across many different PDFs and conduct research for you. Next, I'm going to go over a simple example of how you can edit and iterate your agents before you deploy them. You can email them, speak to them, or chat with them by clicking edit. So for example, you can say, what is the pricing?
As an autonomous sales agent, I don't have the specific pricing details for CheatLayer services. However, I can certainly help you get that information. If you're interested in learning more about our pricing and how CheatLayer can help you build end-to-end automations, I can send you a personalized email with all the details you need. Would you like me to do that?
I can also send emails to customers, but in this case, it made a mistake. So when it does that, what you want to do is click edit, and you can either edit any one of these tasks, you can add a new guideline or add a new step, and describe, just like as if you were training an employee, what it should respond with. So for example, you can say, what is the pricing?
The pricing is $39 a month, and there are enterprise plans available on request.
And you can see it's very easy. What I recommend doing is trying to break it by emailing it and testing it, and then giving it a basically an input and an output. So you can say, if it did something incorrect, you can say, this is what you said, but this is what I want you to say instead. Once you've iterated the agent to your satisfaction, you can then deploy them by covering our tutorials on sales agents, or you can set up email forwarding directly to any email. You can find out the email of the agent by emailing it and sending a simple test email. And you can also embed the agent directly on your website using a chat interface that will also have the voices. And agency plan users can add custom branding and logos for that. On the agent settings menu, you don't need to add any of these keys, they're not necessary, but if you want custom voices, you can add an 11 labs key. If you want the agents to have a history and a memory, and maybe learn from basically the history of conversations with your customers to get better at generating higher converting copy over time, you can link your Supabase. You can set up Twilio to have SMS and even phone sales agents in CheatLayer Desktop. And you can add HubSpot and Salesforce for your CRM, or you can add Vercel and GitHub. If you build products, the agent will actually instantly publish them to your Vercel. This allows you to make easily iterate products because it saves each step to your GitHub as well. Pretty cool stuff. And of course, OpenAI allows you to build certain OpenAI products. Down below in the settings, you'll see that there's certain settings that will help you set up your Supabase. You can copy this into the SQL editor in Supabase, and after you've set up Supabase, you can use this uploader to upload directly to agent memory. This lets you upload any PDF or document or text file about a company and allows your agent to learn from your business. Next, I recommend doing a guided study through our tutorials based on your use case because we have agents for many different categories and markets, for example, lead generation, marketing agents, product agents, and sales agents. On the left-hand side, you can also create agent teams. And finally, I just recommend checking out all the community submitted agents from non-technical users. There have been certain automations we didn't expect were possible. You can just click deploy browser automation to test them directly, or deploy agent to test these directly. To run them, click the enable button and they'll run in the background. These agents have the ability to have organizational structure and hierarchy and create swarms and workers. And so you can build super complex automations even still just through the Chrome extension. This research agent, for example, is compiling many different PDFs and summarizing them to form a conclusion on an independent topic. And this is pretty cool because it's actually generating new conclusions that weren't there in the original PDFs, and it has the ability to basically form completely new independent conclusions for existing problems and roadblocks. And that's interesting because that's also how we solve roadblocks in software. So a next possible step for this would be to link these research agents back to our product agents when they hit roadblocks. And you can see it just summarized all those articles. It's now finally generating a summary, and when it finally completes, it will actually email the results back to us. After you've installed the Chrome extension, you can download and unzip CheatLayer Desktop from step 9. In Windows, I'm going to click Extract All. It's only 600 megabytes to download, but it'll extract to about 2 gigabytes, so make sure you have enough drive space. And this process takes about 5 minutes, depending on how fast your CPU is. After you've unzipped CheatLayer Desktop, open the install folder, and if you sort by date modified, you'll notice that there will be a cheatlayer.exe application. Double-click that, and then click Yes when it asks you to give it administrator privileges, because this allows it to basically automate your keyboard and mouse. It's going to take a minute to load up here, and we can click Cancel because the ngrok server is optional. If you have an ngrok auth token, which is free to set up, it allows you to set up your own GPT-4 powered phone sales servers using only Twilio as the only cost, which is $0.01 per minute, and allows you to host a web server locally live on the internet on your PC without paying any hosting costs to WordPress and things like that. This allows you to use desktop live mode to build entire services and basically host them locally for free, but it's entirely optional, so you can click Cancel. And if you've installed the Chrome extension locally and on no other devices, it'll connect automatically and set up all your keys for you, so there's no required keys or anything. But you'll now be presented with the onboarding, so quickly read each one of these steps, which cover basically an overview of all the features and reasoning behind CheatLayer Desktop. And then if you have your ngrok token, you can enter it here. You can enter your name here, and then you can also describe a little bit about yourself. For example, what kind of business or professional you are. This will help Project Atlas to tailor responses to your needs. And then there's a link to the ngrok website if you don't know where to find it, and you can select if you're technical or non-technical. And what this will do is basically in the chat responses, it'll hide the code or allow you to see them. It's optional to see the code because you don't actually need to run it yourself. And I'm going to just quickly go through these onboardings, but you can go take your time through them. Last thing to note is that you can contact our live chat support Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 6 p.m. Pacific time, or email support@cheatlayer.com if you encounter any issues. Cheatlayer Desktop currently requires a subscription, but free users have access during the hackathon and also during the product hunt launch. So check out the hackathon link page and our latest news on that for details on how to get free access to Cheatlayer Desktop. After you've logged into Cheatlayer Desktop, you'll be presented with our two modalities of operation. There is a chat interface for Project Atlas, which builds entire automations for you from end to end of any complexity. And then there's a no-code interface, which allows you to build those same automations using a drag-and-drop, no-code style interface that allows you to piece together things easily visually and also describing each step in simple language. These are not mutually exclusive because Project Atlas actually generates the no-code graph for every automation for you as it builds it for you. So after Project Atlas builds an automation, you can then actually jump in instantly and start editing it using the no-code graph. I'll now cover examples on how to use I'll now cover the most valuable examples on how to use both modalities to automate your business. We'll start with Project Atlas. When you've started Cheatlayer Desktop, you'll also open the beta desktop page in your browser, which gives you a listing of all the pre-built agents that you can instantly run, and a link to the quick start guide to watch it again. Okay, I'm going to start with a simple example and then work into progressively more complex examples. If you'd like to generate a synthetic video, simply say, generate a synthetic video about space. And Project Atlas will go about generating the code and executing it for you. In the background now, to generate the synthetic video, it's going to combine DALL-E 3 to generate the image. So you can actually choose any theme you want, grow any brand on autopilot, even generate words and text, logos, fun stuff like that for advertising or social media posts. And then it'll take that DALL-E 3 generated image to turn that into a video. And then finally, it will open the video for you. While this video is generating, I can explain what is Project Atlas and what is Atlas 1. So you can think of Project Atlas like our framework that allows other large language models to generate videos of unlimited complexity. It's kind of like LangChain on steroids. We can bring this to any new large language model like GPT-4 or any future open source model. And Atlas 1 is our new multimodal model which we've been training for over a year to solve the hardest problems for automation. We used Atlas 1 to basically give GPT-4 the ability to make precise actions. What that means is it allows GPT-4 to take precise clicks. We use Atlas 1 to build a new kind of targeting strategy called semantic targets, which replaces all other previous targeting strategies used by other automation tools today. Basically, when you build an automation, the most common problem is that the service that you build the automation about or on changes their designs, and then you have to go back and rebuild the automation or hire someone to do it. And this is a problem that breaks all other automation tools, including UiPath and Microsoft, and we've solved it with semantic targets by distilling the underlying intent of every target into their plain English equivalent. So rather than using code or computer vision, which are brittle and break when designs change, services can completely change their designs, and our semantic targets still work because they're basically just looking, for example, for a blue button or a button that says post. And so you can be as descriptive or as dynamic as you want in your targets, and this allows you, oh, that's a cool video. And this allows you to build robust, future-proof automations. In this final step, you'll notice that Project Atlas uses GPT-4 Vision to also confirm that the output was correct and the automation has completed successfully. If it's correct, it will let you know that the goal has been completed, and if it's not correct, it will try to regenerate the automation until it completes the goal. As you can see here, it is correct, and we're done with the automation. Next, I'll go over a more complex example using Project Atlas to generate a more complex video with multiple stages. Testing, good. This is a prompt that I've been working on that allows us to chain multiple synthetic videos together to actually create an entire movie trailer. And in order to generate this, Project Atlas is actually going to pull together multiple open source libraries to be able to generate voiceover text, generate the text using GPT-4, generate the voiceover, combine the videos, and intelligently piece them together into a final movie trailer for Star Wars. And you can generate this yourself. You can actually change the text of the original prompt to change the direction for the trailer. And you can see here now it's actually generating the voiceover text for the videos, and it's going to go through and generate 10 short videos and then finally combine them together. And if you edit this, you can actually change whatever format you want, how you want the tone and theme and style or the story to change to whatever you want to focus on, and it'll generate anything you want because underneath it's actually using DALL-E 3 and GPT-4 to generate all the video content and text content. You can see several examples of the final output published to our Twitter.
Venture beyond the sand dunes. A message within a droid piqued his curiosity. "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi," it pleaded. Luke found the old Jedi living as a hermit nearby. A legacy lightsabers was A young Jedi named Kira discovered an ancient map leading to a forgotten planet. Accompanied by her droid, R2-G4, she set out in her starship, embarking on a journey filled with wonder. As they approached the world known as Zephyr, the duo was met with an awe-inspiring sight of swirling clouds and a landscape dotted with crystal formations. Kira felt a strong connection with the Force on Zephyr and sensed a presence waiting for her. In a hidden valley, she encountered a wise old alien named Master Lumen, who had been safeguarding Jedi knowledge for centuries. He offered to teach Kira the ways of the Force, recognizing her potential to bring balance to the galaxy. Under Master Lumen's guidance, Kira honed her skills, learning to move objects with her mind and seeking visions of the future. R2-G4 provided loyal companionship, often projecting holographic lessons or recording her progress. The duo grew to cherish the peaceful planet, which felt like an oasis in the vast cosmos. Months passed, and Kira became a formidable Jedi, promising to use her powers to protect those in need. With R2G holographic formidable Jedi, promising to use her powers to protect those in need. With R2G4 by her side, she bid farewell to Master Lumen and Zephyr, her starship, disappearing into the stars, ready for new adventures.
And you can generate your own. There's technically no limit
Longed
to
for adventure
what you
beyond
can
the
generate.
sand dunes.
You can tell it to
A
even
message
use
within a
different
droid
voices,
piqued his curiosity.
generate entire TV
Help
shows
me, Obi-Wan
and
Kenobi,
movies. Of
it
course, it's
pleaded.
gonna consume
Luke
text.
found the old Jedi living as a...
To demonstrate the ability for Project Atlas to reason and make choices, I'm going to give it a generalized problem. For example, we've given Project Atlas the ability to access our entire internal library that allows it to simulate human key presses, clicks, open programs, execute code, simulate voice, generate text, and the ability to access any API up until 2023 that's been trained into GPT-4, the ability to execute any Python library or any open source project, and Project Atlas combines all these sources to deduce the next best step. In this case, you can see that it's realized that it's gone to Google and it's on the Google's home search page. Next, what it needs to do is click the search result bar and enter a search for houses for sale. GPT-4 Vision has taken a screenshot of the screen, and now it's going to trigger Atlas 1, as you can see in the top left-hand corner, which goes through all the possible UI elements on the screen and calculates the probability that it matches the intent of the next step of the automation. It's figured out that that search bar is the next step, as you can see. It's clicked it and entered houses for sale for a family of 4. Now, the Project Atlas state machine is going to consider the next step. It's going to take a screenshot of the screen and then realize, we'll find out next actually. If you look closely, you can see that it's now on the Google search results page and it needs to click the first non-sponsored search result click. That's pretty cool. Doesn't look like it has any non-sponsored search results available, so it's probably going to get the best probability that it can. Shame on Google. And it looks like it's found the results. Pretty cool. It even has realized that there is a pop-up window, so we need to close the pop-up. That's pretty amazing. I've never seen this before. Amazing. As you can see, Project Atlas has dynamism, the ability to recover from failures, and the ability to solve arbitrary generalized problems. I'm excited to see what you guys build with it. Once you've dialed in your marketing and sales agents, you can deploy them on desktop cloud instances. And you can access them directly on your agent's management dashboard to drive constant traffic to any brand on autopilot. Here's a quick tutorial on how to use our no-code editor and our powerful new semantic targeting to build an automation that creates images using Leonardo.ai and uploads them to Twitter. So I'm going to just run the automation first so you see how it works and explain how it does that, and then I'll show you how to build it using no-code tools easily. Go to File, Run. If your browser is not open, it's going to open your browser and send it to Twitter. And the first step is finding the post button. If you'll notice in the top left-hand corner, it is flipping through images in parallel. This is using Atlas 1, our new multimodal model that takes images or text as input, and we've trained it specifically to solve the hardest problems for automation. It uses this to build something called semantic targets, which are robust to even future design changes because it understands the underlying intent of the target. So for example, if you change the color of a button, or if you even change the entire design of the website, it'll still work. And what it's doing here is it's now using GPT-4 to search the screen and generate a social post. And now it's going to post it to the page. There we go. Okay, so now that you've seen how it works, let me go over how to build the automation. We're going to start with a new cheat from scratch. The first step is a semantic click. I'm going to click the post button, and we're going to describe this semantic step more explicitly. We can choose to use the auto-generated description, but I recommend being as descriptive as possible because sometimes you might have two buttons that are also similar. A blue post button with white text that says post. And we can be, I recommend being as descriptive as possible because that'll help it be as accurate as possible. You might have noticed that it was also printing out the probabilities up in the left corner. So if you have two targets that are very similar, you'll see that it actually goes out to decimal places. So if you're more descriptive, that helps you discern between two targets. Okay, so let's just see what this does and run it. And the first step is a semantic click. So you can see it's now searching for the post button and it clicked it. Cool. All right, next, let's just go ahead and click this image button. So I'm going to go back to our no code editor, do a click, and choose this. Okay, and we're going to describe it as a, let's see, a small button, a blue image of mountains. And it's going to describe it for you as an initial guess, but often that's not really that great. Sometimes it does actually do pretty well and you can leave it, but I recommend improving it as much as possible, being as descriptive as you can if you want. And then so, let's see. Let's click that and go to the next step. Now we want to click this button. Add a click. Click there. I'm going to describe this. See, it described it as a folder, but I want to describe it as a small yellow folder icon, just to be a little bit more descriptive. I'm going to go back here. Then next, once this is clicked, I want to type something. So I want it to actually go to our install folder if we're not already there. So we're going to go here and use key press. And then in key press, there's a special option here for current directory. And then I'm going to delete this so it doesn't type anything else. I'm going to add another key press to press enter. Let's say return. Okay. And once we're in the current directory, I wanted to click down here, so I'm going to add a click. Let's see. And let's describe this as, it says file name. Let's say a text input for the file name. Text input box for the file name. And you can see all these targets are all in simple language, so there's no code involved here, which means that this solves a problem that breaks all other automation tools like UiPath and Microsoft, where if the service updates their design or even completely change the design of their website, you have to go back and rebuild the automation. In this case, it's actually going to be able to search the screen and intelligently understand the underlying intent of your automation to keep working. So it's kind of robust, future-proof, much less brittle than all other automation services. Okay, so now once we've clicked here, next I want to do some key press action. Let's have it say generated.png, because this is the file name that our stable diffusion generator uses. Actually, let's add stable diffusion before that. Stable diffusion. And let's reroute this to here. And let's route this one to here. Okay. So let's create our image first. Let's describe the image prompt as a bunch of robots having a party. Okay. And then key press generated.png. And then let's do key press again. Turn. All right. So at this point, let's just see how far we get. We've done a bunch of steps. I just want to see what's happening. Let's go back and run this. And you can also save it between steps. Probably generating the image now. Ah, generated an image. Cool. And this is as far as it's gotten. So let's add another step to click the what's happening section. Okay. Text that says what is happening. And then let's generate a post using, and let's say a social post about AI automation. And then once that post is generated, let's just see what it does, because it might like change the layout of the screen. So let's run how far we get from here. Now we generate the image. It takes a little bit longer. Image has been generated. Clicking what is happening. And now we type some post stuff. Cool. Alright, as a final step, all we have to do is click post. So let's go here and, sorry. Let's do a click here. Let's shorten this to be, let's say, a small blue give it a go and see what happens. Actually, I think for Twitter we need to click twice, so I'm just going to add one more just in case. Post. Awesome. Here we go. Moment of truth. Opening Twitter. Clicking post next. Semantic targets in parallel. It actually runs, you might notice it's running through many different images right there very quickly. And that's because it's running them in parallel on our server using Atlas 1. This means that even low-end laptops, even if you don't have a graphics card, it'll still work. This is also part of the reason why it's taking a while for us to scale the beta up to all our customers. Should be mostly scaled up in the next few weeks, I think. Okay. Let's go to what is happening. Ah, there's the new image. And yeah, automation. And finally, let's do the post button. And then one more for Twitter. There it goes. And we're done. Pretty cool. If you use live mode on the extension, you've had fun building entire apps, games, websites in real time as it streams the results back to you and allows you to add steps step by step like speaking to an engineer. In fact, we built the entire agents management dashboard using live mode by first asking it to generate an interface that looked like Monday.com and then adding all these other features one step at a time like speaking to an engineer in live mode. As soon as it finishes, it'll host the live output on our CheatLayer website so you can instantly share it with friends. As you can see, it can even generate functional tools, apps, games, and entire SaaS products. But this is just on the extension. CheatLayer Desktop upgrades live mode to allow you to host entire backends, front ends, iterate the entire backend, front end, build cryptocurrencies, marketplaces, apps, Chrome extensions, and host them all live locally on your PC. I'm going to go over an example to show you what I mean. It's now installing the Flash server code using Bash. And now it's running the Flash server. And there it is. Pretty cool. So it's updated the listing, it's added some images, and made it a little bit better. Amazing. In the final step, Project Atlas is going to verify that it completed the result. We can see that it's accomplished the goal. It's described that it's completed the original design that we set out to build, which was very simple, admittedly, but this is very powerful because you understand that this generalized agent is an engineer who now will work independently of you without you having to correct it to reach your initial goal. This is super powerful as a generalized agent because it allows you to build basically any product that you want. We have a vision actually for CheatLayer in the next year or so. We believe that these agents will have the ability to basically generate not just these simple websites for yourself, but every business SaaS software that exists. Because none of them really invent that much, if you understand. They're mostly databases and tables. And these agents know how to build all of them using open source technologies better, because they can host them locally. They can have bespoke features that these services don't have time to build because these services are always building for the average aggregate. And so they don't have time to build every feature for every user, which means that you will always be able to generate a more customized version of all those expensive business software like HubSpot, Drip, Salesforce, and so on. In fact, it'll be better because it'll be hosted locally. You'll have access to all the data. It'll be more secure. You'll get custom features, and it will be free. Let me repeat, all the most expensive business software in the world by next year will likely be free. And this isn't just something that we're building. This is a consequence of where the technology is going. Even if we don't release this, all agents, we believe, by next year, when we get to around a 500K context limit, will have the ability to generate entire services like LinkedIn, HubSpot, Salesforce, and so on, entirely in memory with a single prompt. This will likely completely disrupt the SaaS industry. It's part of our vision to actually make that as easy as possible, because originally we set out to solve the problem of helping people go from 0 to 1. And this actually does lower the bar for people to start businesses. It's a super exciting future, and CheatLayer Desktop has been designed specifically to enable that future. Your ngrok address allows you to host these services live on the internet. And so, over time, we'll be upgrading Desktop Live Mode to allow you to not just build your own products, but build basically any business SaaS software products that you see out there. Since this inevitable future will likely disrupt all SaaS businesses, it appears the only way not to get disrupted is to build the tools that will enable that. So join us in this exciting new future.